should say. Welcome back to Take It Slow Homestead. I'm Carol, and today I'm going to show you what I have out here in my burning pile. So I have this little field next to my house, and as you can see, there is a huge pile of limbs and weeds. Let's see if we can come back over this way. Hopefully I don't fall down trying to walk backwards. So it's huge. And in this pile there's twigs and small branches, a few weeds. So about half of this pile is just from last week. Okay, there it is. And then over here is a little pile of smaller twigs and debris that were cleaned out of my 2 chicken runs. Now, if you can see, there's 1 chicken run over there, and then 1 chicken run right here. And in the last couple of days, I've raked them all out and put every little twig that I could find into this small pile. Still have this huge pile right here, and as soon as I can have the time to call the fire marshal, then I will get permission from him to burn this, hopefully before winter comes. So where did all this come from? Well, last week we had a snowstorm, and we have big elm trees. Yeah, they just keep going. So we have these big elm trees, and they still have their leaves on them. So we have actually, look up here, we have a helicopter. So we'll just let him fly over. And then I won't have to compete with him for the microphone. And some cars going by. Okay, so sometimes we do get early snowstorms when the leaves are still on the trees. When that happens, the weight of the snow will often break branches off of these trees. And that's what happened a week or so ago. Some big branches fell. There was a couple off of these trees right here. There was a big one that came off of that tree over there, the one on the left. And then way over here on the other side of the chicken coop, there was another big branch that fell. I still haven't raked up my grass. I got the chicken runs raked up, but not my grass, so I took care of their home before I did mine, right? So over here, that tree right there I had topped. It was a little much for it, and it struggled to come back. It's starting to come back, finally. But this tree right here, this elm tree, it lost a big branch. And it's getting too dark really to show, I think. Let me see if I can get back here without tripping over something. You can see where that one has been sawed off. So that had broken. So there was a lot of debris there. This is the wood pile. All right, chicken coop. So, my son and his wife, my daughter-in-law, and their kids came over to my house a couple of days ago. I guess it was Saturday, and they cleaned up all of the branches. There were branches here, there were branches over there by that burning pile that I showed you. There were branches over by the wood pile that I just showed you. And they cleaned up all of the big branches and dragged them to my burning pile. And they did all that work for me. And so today's video is about making cookies. I really appreciate my children and all of the help that they give me all the time. They're great people, great kids. And so whenever I think about it, when I have my wits about me, I think, oh, I should make them some cookies. I should do something for them because of all the help that they give to me. So today I'm going to make some cookies, pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. And I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm also going to post the recipe in the description, so if you want to use this same recipe, you're very welcome to. So here we go, pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. The first ingredient is 1 cup of shortening. The next ingredient is 2 cups of sugar. There's 1, 2. Now I'm going to cream those together with my hand mixer. The next ingredient is 4 eggs. Now, I don't know if you knew this already. Many of you probably already have known this, but 1 egg is approximately equivalent to 1/4 of a cup. So, the recipe calls for 4 eggs. I put 4 eggs in this measuring cup, and it came out to 3/4 of a cup. So I added 1 more egg to make it 1 cup of eggs. So this is actually 5 eggs. I think the reason why that is the case today is because 3 of my eggs were on the medium to small size. So it took more eggs to come up with the whole cup of eggs. I like to beat them until they're light and fluffy. And I could beat this a little bit longer and the mixture would get a little bit lighter in color. Okay, The next thing it calls for is 2 cups of mashed pumpkin. And I left it in the microwave and forgot to get it prepared, so I'm just going to put you on pause for just a sec. Okay, last December I froze some pumpkin, cooked it first, of course, mashed it up, and in each bag I put 2 cups of pumpkin because this recipe calls for 2 cups. And this is what I mostly use my pumpkin for. So I took a bag of that out of the freezer a little while ago, microwaved it till it was nice and thawed out. The recipe calls for 2 cups of pumpkin. So we'll mix that in now. Now 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Not baking powder, baking soda. With baking soda, I always put it in my hand first, and then I press it with the back of the spoon to make sure there are no lumps in the soda. Sometimes you'll get lumps in the soda because of moisture in the air. So I just always do that because I don't like biting into a lump of soda in my cookie. 1 teaspoon salt. I like to put my salt in this big quart, if you can read that. Here, I'll do this. I need to get my marker out and mark it again. But there, you can see it upside down. It says salt. Okay. My daughter showed me that, and I thought, wow, that makes it really easy to measure. 1 teaspoon soda. Now, 1 teaspoon each of cinnamon and cloves and nutmeg. All of these are ground, of course. One teaspoon cinnamon. Oh, it smells so good. 1 teaspoon cloves. Smells so good. And this has a little sprinkler top on the lid, so I have to take that off. Oh, can't get my teaspoon in there, so I will get 1/2 teaspoon, which will fit in the bottle, and I'll do 2 of those. You know what? That's kind of bumpy too. Some lumps in that. There's 1/2 teaspoon and 1/2 more. So there's 1 teaspoon cloves. Put the little sprinkler top back on. Okay. Cups of flour. do part at a time. "12 ounces of chocolate chips." When I write down a recipe such as this one, oh, my oven is ready. When I write down a recipe such as this one, I try to simplify it the best that I can. So, for example, on this recipe, I just wrote down to mix well in order. And then I listed the ingredients in the way that I like to mix ingredients, just the way I did it just now. And then I just put how to bake them, and it makes it really simple. When I was younger growing up, there was a recipe that we made a lot. It was from my grandmother, and it was banana chocolate chip cookies, similar to this one, and the texture is very similar, except this one tastes like pumpkin and the other one tastes like bananas. And the original recipe said 2/3 cup of shortening, mix well until smooth. Add sugar, add 1 cup of sugar. Mix until light and fluffy. Add 2 eggs, one at a time, beating after each addition. Combine dry ingredients together and mix alternately with the mashed bananas. So I made it so many times, it's like I have it memorized. But anyway, it was nice to have specific instructions in case you needed them. But nowadays I just pretty much say mix in order and bake it this way. So I just wanted to explain that to you, because when I write down the recipe in the description of this video, I will do it very simply. Okay. I usually just use 2 large soup spoons. I guess that's what they're called. And I take some, scoop it off with 1 spoon, like that. So I'm going to do these on this baking pan, 4 across and 5 down. Sometimes I do 6 down. It depends on what I'm making. But I think with these 5 down will be good. So I'm going to finish this and get them baking and then start another tray. So it says to bake at 375 for 10 to 15 minutes. One of my daughters told me that you should always bake for the lowest amount of time first that it suggests, so it would be 10 minutes, and then check. But you know, in this altitude, we always have to cook things a little bit longer. So I'm not worried about it. I will take a peek at 10 minutes, but I think they'll probably have to go for like, I don't know, 13 or 14. We'll see how it works out. I don't remember from one time to another when I've made them the last time. I don't remember for sure what I baked them at. So I'll do that and then we'll come back when the first tray comes out. I ended up cooking them for 14 minutes. So I'm going to set the timer now for the next tray. And take these off the cookie sheet. When these are cooled on the cooling rack, then I'm going to put them on this plate. I didn't grease my pan because there's a cup of shortening in this recipe, and to me that's enough fat, and they come off the pan just fine. Okay, as soon as this pan cools off just a little bit, I will fill it up with more, and I'll just keep cooking them, and when they cool, then I'll pile them on that plate. Here's the big plate of cookies that I'm gonna run over to my son's house with and treat them with these cookies for all the help that they give me. So when my daughter sees this video, she's gonna say, "Where's our cookies?" And so I'm gonna make a plate of cookies for her and her family too, because they help me also. All right. Don't you just love plastic wrap? I actually do, unless I have to do something in the middle of using it, like turn off my timer. Okay, there's those all ready to go. And there's that tray. There's just a few left on that tray. I'm not going to cook those for the whole 14 minutes. I'm going to cook them for 12 because there's not that many on that sheet. So they don't need to be cooked for quite that long of time when there's less food. All right, I have all of these, and the ones I just took out over there, and the few that are still in the oven. So I have, you could say, a plethora of cookies. And I'm excited. Been wanting to make them for the last couple of days because that's when my son and his family helped me, and it's just taken me this long to get my act together to get these cookies made. But I want you to remember that even when you take it slow like me, you can accomplish a lot. Some people just might have to wait a little while for their treat, right? Have a great rest of your day.